You can't control hope, man. It's like sitting on your ass wishing for a miracle. Hope is weak, passive mentality. It's what people say when they ain't willing to do the work. A belief? Now, that's a whole different beast. Belief ain't some feel-good bullshit your parents or teachers fed you like, oh, just believe in yourself and everything will be okay. Nah, belief is forged in fire, built in the trenches when you're dragging your ass through the hardest days of your life and you still keep going. When I went back to SEAL training, time after time, it wasn't because I hoped the shit would get easier. That's some weak ass thinking. It was because I believed I had what it took to get through, no matter how much it broke me down. I knew I wasn't executing at the level I should have been, and that was on me. I didn't make excuses. I didn't hope the instructors would go easy. I owned my shit. When I locked in, when that belief mixed with my hard work, everything fucking changed. See, most people get hit with a hard task and it smashes them. They're already defeated in their heads before they even start. But here's the truth. You got to be willing to entertain the idea that you can conquer whatever's in front of you. The second you close your mind off to that, you're done. You lose, man. That's why when I face a challenge, my whole body comes alive. You think I'm scared? Hell no. I know when you're in a battle, you don't sit back waiting for mercy. You attack. You fucking go hard. You make that enemy, whether it's a person, a task, or your own mind, fear you. You grind so damn hard that it questions itself. You break its soul. That's what I wasn't doing before. I wasn't breaking the soul of whatever stood in my way. So I came up with taking souls. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was going on the offense. I was out there breaking the spirit of everything that thought it could stop me. That's how you win. Nothing wants to stand in front of someone who's relentless. Nothing. People don't get it. When you're in the shittiest environment, the darkest situation, and everybody's looking around like, man, I hope this is over soon. You got to flip the switch. I started playing mind games with myself. I thought, you think I'm weak? You're watching me, judging me, thinking I don't have what it takes. Watch this. I used their doubt to fuel me. And that's when I told my boat crew, we're taking these motherfuckers' souls. I didn't let them tell me how I should feel. I didn't care if we were only 1 hour in. I wasn't looking for the finish line. I was looking to break whoever was in front of me. That's how you win. That's how you show the world you're here to stay. Man, we were out there doing this simple ass task and I'm watching dudes crumble, just falling apart, struggling like they ain't never faced adversity before. But I saw the instructors' faces and something clicked. These motherfuckers were shook. They looked like somebody reached into their chest and snatched their damn soul. I turned to my boat crew and I was like, yo, guess what? We're living rent-free in their heads now. We own space up there. Tonight, when they lay their heads down, they're going to be thinking about us. That's the power of taking souls, man. It only takes 1 second of energy to break somebody. Just 1 second of relentless pressure. And you steal everything from them. You see it in their eyes when you've broken them. You know that feeling when you're in a fight and you see that look like, oh God, I don't want to go another round. And at that moment, you're like, fuck yeah, I could fight all day. I could go all fucking day long. But you got to have the heart, man, the will, the guts to push past the point where most people quit. When you're running on empty, body screaming, minds trying to shut down, that's when you take souls. When you've got nothing left to give, you dig deeper and give more. That's what separates the weak from the strong. You start feeding off that energy the moment you see them break. It's like a damn battery gets plugged into your soul. It's all mental warfare, man. You don't need much to break someone. Just that 1 second when they realize they can't hang with you. You see it in their eyes, that moment of surrender. That's when you know you've got him. You can go all day while they're dreading the next round. That's what taking souls is all about, being willing to push past every limit when you're already wrecked, when there's nothing left in the tank, and still finding more. That shit takes courage. It takes an iron will to go the distance, to give when you've got nothing left to give. And all the while, it's about what you're feeding your mind. You got to tell yourself the right story. For me, it was always, you can't hurt me. That's where can't hurt me. That's where can't hurt me comes from. It is your words, man. It's a mindset, a way of life. No matter what's beating you down physically, mentally, spiritually, you got to say, you can't hurt me. That's your shield. I don't fuck with a lot of people because most are full of shit. They live on the surface, fronting on Instagram, acting like they got it all together. But it's bullshit. Most folks ain't built for the grind. They want to show off, but they ain't willing to suffer for it. And me, I came from nothing. I'm still amazed at what I built out of the scraps I was given. I didn't have no blueprint for this. My mom didn't teach me how to be a man. My dad sure as hell didn't. I had to figure it out on my own, brick by fucking brick. When I talk about myself in the third person, it's not because I'm full of myself. It's because I look at what I've become and I'm in awe of the human potential to transform. I built this out of nothing. No one showed me how, but here I am. Life didn't hand me shit, man. Life didn't sit me down and say, here's how you do this. Nah, man, life threw me in the fire and I had to figure out how to survive. But I'll correct myself, life did train me. Every damn struggle, every failure, every fucked up situation was training. I started piecing together this scrap metal, this broken down, beat up version of myself thinking, what the fuck am I building here? That first year, man, I was doing it all wrong. Trying to fix myself while still fucked up inside. But pain became my teacher. Every hit, every setback taught me something new. And before I knew it, I looked at myself and thought, damn, I built something out of all this mess. I built a machine, man, a damn beautiful car. And it didn't happen overnight. It was piece by piece, lesson by painful lesson, until I had the tools to create this person Goggins. People think I'm some kind of alien, like I came out to nowhere, fully formed, ready to conquer the world. But nah, man, that ain't the truth. I look in the mirror and think, man, I built this motherfucker. But here's the real secret. Anybody can do it, but most people don't want to get uncomfortable enough to try. Most people don't want to clear out their mental garage. They fill it with distractions, excuses, and bullshit, and then wonder why they're stuck. Discipline and consistency can't live in that cluttered space. You might have a good day or two, but then your mind shuts down like a damn circuit breaker overloaded, sparking out and leaving you in the dark. That's why I'm always talking about clearing out space in your mind. You got to make room for the hard shit, the discipline, the early mornings, the grind. You can't reach that next level if your mental garage is jammed up with junk. And that's the problem with people who are too talented. Talent is a curse. Those motherfuckers don't know how to push themselves beyond what comes easy. They think talent is enough, but it ain't. If you're a coach trying to get them to break through that wall, it's like pulling teeth. You got to take them past their talent. You got to drag them down into the deep end where talent doesn't mean shit. And it's all about how tough you are mentally. That's where the real growth happens past talent, in that dark, cold place where most people fucking don't want to go. And let me tell you, man, when you take someone down there where they're drowning while you're swimming like a shark, it's over. Game over, man. You've already won. Talent taps out when the mind takes over. And if you're strong enough to go deep while everyone else is just dipping their toes in the water, you own them. That's how you reach levels most people can't even imagine. It's not about talent. It's about how much pain you can take and still keep going. They live in the deep end, man. That's where they breathe, where they thrive. When life hits them with trauma, with devastation, and believe me, that shit's coming. They don't freeze up. They don't let it become some fucking Jersey barrier blocking their path. Nah, they break that shit down fast and find a way through. They move forward. That's real toughness. People think they know tough, but until you've given everything, until you bled for this shit, you don't know a damn thing about it. I've run on knees that were so fucked up I could barely stand. I've taped my feet to keep going. I've had heart surgeries, 2 of them. And I kept pushing. That's who I am. Everyone out here wants toughness, but they're looking for it in comfort. They think they're going to find it sitting on a soft couch, sipping a latte, scrolling Instagram. Get the fuck out to here. You will never find toughness in a comfortable environment. I had somewhere to go, and I didn't stop till I got there. Even when people told me, you can take a break now. You've done enough. Look at your knees, look at your body. As long as my knees halfway work, I'm fucking running. You're telling me there's a chance I can still run? Then I'm fucking running. I gave everything, man. And I mean everything. I don't care if people don't believe it. I know the truth. I'm not looking for their validation. People didn't understand me then. They sure as hell don't understand me now. And I don't give a fuck. They want to label me, call me fucking crazy, call me a masochist. Nah, man, I had a mission. I had shit to do. See, the mind's like a garage. You open it up and it's full of junk shits everywhere. Bikes, kids' toys, boxes stacked to the ceiling. You can't park a car in there because there's no space. But if you clean that shit up, organize everything, suddenly you can fit a car in. Hell, you can fit 2 cars and some bikes in there. Now it's functional. Now it serves a purpose. That's your mind. People talk about discipline, determination, consistency, but they're filling their heads with so much clutter, there's no room for any of it. They do it once or twice, maybe for a week. Then their mind overloads like a blown circuit breaker. Sparks start flying and they fall apart. That's why you've got to clear out your mental garage. You've got to make room in there for discipline to take root. You've got to clear out all the excuses, all the distractions, all the bullshit. Waking up early, grinding when nobody else is watching, that means something. But none of that shit sticks if your mind is clogged up with garbage. People don't want to do the hard work of getting rid of the mental junk. But that's where the real change happens, in the dark corners of your mind where you're holding on to old fears, doubts, and failures. You clear that space, you make room for greatness. That's the only way forward. Every damn morning starts with a run. Why? Because that's the one thing I hate more than anything else in this world. I hate running, man, but that's why I do it first thing. It's my version of a cup of coffee. It's the first hit of suffering. And that's how I start armoring myself for the day. Because the second you step outside your door, the second you open your phone, you're letting in all kinds of poison and cancer, negativity, bullshit, distractions. It's all out there waiting to pull you down. But you can't avoid all that shit. So you got to build your armor every damn day. So when I get up, I'm already preparing. I'm putting that armor on my mind, on my body. Yeah, discipline is great, but without a clear head, there ain't no discipline. People don't understand that. They're like, what do you mean? Man, your mind's like a circuit breaker. If you keep loading shit onto the same circuit, stress, distractions, problems, it's going to blow. And when that circuit blows, you're fucked. You got to have your shit plugged into the right places, just like a garage. If it's cluttered up with crap, you can't put anything new in there. Once your brain gets cluttered, discipline don't mean shit. Motivation don't mean shit. You might have it for a minute, but it won't stick. You don't have the consistency to back it up because your mind's too crowded with junk. And that's what people don't get. You got to clear that space. You got to have a clean garage in your head for discipline to fit, for consistency to take root. And then there's my book, Can't Hurt Me. My mom asked, why didn't you put more of my life in there? But here's the thing. I was a kid watching her go through hell. I lived it with her, but in a way, I lived it even more than she did. I didn't have an adult brain to process all that pain, all that chaos. I was a child trying to survive in a world I didn't understand. And it took me years to figure out who the real devil was. For the longest time, I thought the devil was my father. And he was a monster, no doubt about it. But here's the truth. I had to confront him. And when I did, I realized the devil wasn't him. It was me. I was my own worst enemy. I was the one holding myself back. I was the one making excuses, looking for someone to blame. I wanted my dad to tell me I was a loser so I could have an excuse to quit. But guess what? He was a loser too. In the end, it wasn't about him. It was all me. I was the one who had to face my own shit. No more blaming, no more excuses. When I left that confrontation, I knew it was on me. All of it. My dad was fucked up, man. My mom was fucked up, women. Everyone around me, fucked up. And guess what? They ain't coming to save you, man. Nobody's coming. So you better look yourself in the mirror and figure it the fuck out. That's when reality hit me like a freight train. When I drove back from Buffalo after seeing my dad, I was like, damn, this shit's about to get real. Not because I was going to stay a loser, but because I finally understood what it takes to win. And let me tell you, winning ain't for the weak. This life's going to suck, but it's going to suck because you're about to start doing the shit that nobody else has the balls to do. See, the problem with talented people, they're a pain in the ass to train. They think their talent's enough, but talent only gets you so far. It's mental toughness that separates the weak from the elite. And if you're a coach trying to drag their ass past their own talent, it's damn near impossible. But on the other side of that talent, that's where the magic happens. That's where the real work begins. Cause when you take a motherfucker down to the deep end, when you drag them out into the dark water, they either break or they thrive. That's where the difference is, man. You see some people, they're just dipping their toes in the shallow end, scared to commit. But the ones who live in that deep end, the ones who thrive when everyone else is drowning, it's over for anyone else in their way. They've been there before. They're comfortable in the chaos. They thrive in it. That's what it means to take souls. You know that feeling when you're fighting someone and you see it in their eyes, you broke them. That fear, that doubt creeps in and you know they don't want to step up for another round. They're thinking, oh God, I can't take another hit. And you You're over there thinking, I can fight all day. I can go all day long. That's when you take their soul. That's when you know you've won before the fight's even over, man. But to get there, you got to have the will, the heart, the courage to go that distance. When you're gassed out, when you've got nothing left in the tank, you got to dig deep and give it more. You got to charge in and keep pushing. And here's the thing, man, it only takes a second to break someone. 1 second where you decide you're not backing down and suddenly you've stolen their soul. And from that 1 second, you get all the energy you need to keep going. You flip the script and now you're in control. It's not just about breaking others. It's about what you tell yourself in those moments. When I was getting beat down mentally, physically, spiritually, I remind myself, you can't hurt me. That phrase, can't hurt me, became my mantra. It wasn't just some motivational bullshit. It was a battle cry. It was me saying to the world, you can throw whatever the fuck you want at me, and I'm still standing. That's where the power comes from. Here's the thing about life, man. You got to stay ready. Not this bullshit of, oh, I'll get ready when the time comes. Nah, fuck that. You always be ready. Never get ready. People always ask David, what you training for, man? And I'm like, nothing. I'm training for life, for whatever the hell pops up. So when my boy Cam hits me up like, yo, I'm in Vegas, want to go for a run? Damn right I do. I'm ready. I'm always ready. And yeah, that run might have sucked, but I showed up prepared. No excuses, no hesitation. Now, here's what people don't want to hear. And this is what makes me different. If I see you fucking up, I'm going to tell you straight to your face. I ain't sugarcoating shit. Hey, come here. Let me holler at you real quick. People hate that shit. They don't want to hear the truth. But guess what? I'm not going to let you spiral into a place that's hard as hell to crawl out of. I'm not going to stand by while you put on 5 more pounds, take more days off, or procrastinate your way into a pit of mediocrity. If I see it, I'm calling it out. And if I talk about you behind your back and don't say shit to your face, I'm doing you zero justice. That's where we are now in this soft-ass world. People are too scared to say anything. Not me. I always will. Don't like me. Fine. I don't give a damn. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to keep it real. And let me tell you something. Just because something gets hard doesn't mean I quit. Quitting ain't in my DNA. I might take an L the first time, but you better believe I'm coming back. I'll call an audible, reset my mind, and figure that shit out. You don't leave the game. You study it more. You come back harder. People always ask me, David, how do you handle failure? I tell them straight, I fail all the time. Failure is part of the grind. They don't get it. They think failure is the end. Nah, man, failure ain't shit. It's just an attempt. First attempt, second attempt, third attempt. I don't care how many it takes. The only true failure is not trying. That's real talk. Not some weak ass after school special. When you step up, there's no failure, just attempts. And here's the truth. Most people ain't trying to do what I'm doing. They ain't even in the arena, so their criticism means nothing to me. You got people out there sitting on their ass, doing nothing, yet want to open their mouth about what I'm doing. Fuck that. I'm out here pushing limits, going places they'll never go. Failure? That's just part of the process, man. Keep swinging, keep showing up. That's how you win. You want to do something bigger than you? You want to take on a challenge that seems impossible? Good, that's where growth is. Listen, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're at, or what you're dealing with. If you're fucking paralyzed and trying to take that first step and you don't make it, guess what? You didn't fail, motherfucker. That was your first attempt. That's where you need to shift your mindset. Failure? That word's too heavy for most people. They let it crush them. We give way too much power to these damn words. Me, I strip the power out of them. When shit gets hard, that's where I thrive. And let me tell you, the harder it gets, the more you push back. You got to fight it. A lot of people won't even talk about it. Why? Because it's fucking uncomfortable. You know what? Let's be real. Maybe you're fat. I was fat too. Say what you want. I've earned the right to talk about it. I know what it feels like to drag your fat ass out of bed, and it feels like hell every single day. But I can't want it for you. You've got to want it. And here's the cold truth. Most people want the easy way. Well, guess what? Life doesn't give a fuck about what you want. So what do people do? They create this narrative like, oh, it's okay. Nah, motherfucker, it's not okay. The real narrative should be, you need to work harder. You need to discipline yourself. We can't keep feeding people that soft shit. Like it's okay to quit. Is it okay that you're not willing to save your own damn life? No, that's not okay. It's unacceptable. And if you accept that bullshit in yourself, you'll stay exactly where you are, nowhere. That's the problem with a lot of people. They start telling themselves these stories like they've got this free pass in life. Oh, it's fine. Everything's fine. Bullshit. That's the ultimate get out of jail free card. And this whole damn world is full of those cards now. You can't even call people out on it anymore. Well, guess what? I'm taking you there. I'm dragging your ass into the fire with me. You want to learn from me? You better be ready to go deep into the shit that made me who I am. You want to know the real story? The house I grew up in? It was on Paradise Road in Buffalo. Yeah, fucking Paradise Road. It was anything but paradise. I got my ass beat every damn day there. So I'm taking you back with me, and you're going to feel what I felt. You see, we're scared to face our real selves, to dig into the past, into the shit that made us. That's what makes us powerful, man. We're all jacked up, and that's the beauty of it. I'm jacked up, but I figured out how to unfuck myself. And you won't get there the same way I did. I might go from point C to D to F while you go to B. Doesn't matter, we both arrive. The only difference is my journey. It's harder because I make it harder. That's how I train my mind. I'm a different beast, a different thinker. My version of taking it easy used to be running 50 miles a week. But you know what? There's no easy in my world. I'd be out there running 10 miles thinking I was done. Then bam, that inner demon would show up, the one I let out every morning. He'd look me dead in the eye and say, no, bitch, not today. You're not done yet. Man, listen up. There's a beast out there, someone you ain't never met, never even heard of. That dude's out there grinding minus 12, 13, 14 hours doing another one right now. And when you meet him, you ain't going to be ready. Goggins, he kept running, kept pushing. But here's the thing that fired me up. That kid came from the same darkness I did. Here I am in the hardest damn training in the world, broken, in the worst shape of my life. But what if I could graduate alongside these studs? These gladiators, these stallions, all of them healthy, strong, and me. I'm fucking broken, but I'm still here. You got to look someone dead in the eyes. You know what I'm talking about when you're in a fight and you break that motherfucker. You see it in his eyes. He's like, oh shit, I don't want to go back in the ring. And you're standing there like, fuck it, I could go all day. I can fight all damn day. That's what it means to take someone's soul. But here's the thing, man, you got to have the will, the guts, the heart to go that extra mile when you're already fucking wrecked, when you got nothing left to give and still give more. You charge ahead. And that's when you start feeding off it. All it takes is 1 second, one burst of energy to steal everyone else's. And now you've got all the energy you need. You just got to take it. You look in that guy's eyes and you break him. He's done, finished, doesn't want any more. And you're thinking, I can do this all day long. That's the mindset. And when life beats your ass down physically, mentally, spiritually, what do? You look at yourself and say, you can't hurt me. Can't hurt me became my fucking anthem. It's how I push through everything. And here's the lesson, man. You got to be ready. Always be ready. Never get ready. People ask me, David, what are you training for? I'm not training for shit. I'm ready for whatever comes my way. When something pops up, I'm already prepared. So when Cam called me up, hey man, I'm in Vegas, want to run? Hell yeah, let's go. Run sucked, but I was ready. Hey brother, come here. People don't like that shit, but I'm not letting you fall into a hole you can't crawl out of. You gain 5 more pounds, take 4 more days off, keep fucking around with your life. I see it, and if I don't say something, I'm doing you zero justice. This world today, people don't want to hear a damn thing, but I say it, and I'll keep saying it. You don't like me. Fine, don't like me. I don't quit though. I may not win the first time, but I'll come back. I'll figure it out. I'll study it more, work harder, and I'll break through. Quitting ain't in me. Listen, man, when I fail, trust me, people always hit me with, Goggins, how the hell do you handle failure? And I tell them straight up, man, I fail all the time. I live in failure. But here's the thing. What I'm doing, most people ain't even trying to do that shit. I'm not being cocky. I'm just being real. There aren't many people out there who can even open their mouth and criticize when I fall short, because I'm out here pushing for what most can't even dream of. But here's the truth. I don't see failure as failure. I see it as attempts. First, second, third, I don't care. Each one's just another attempt. Because real failure, that's when you don't try at all. That's the only way you truly lose, man. That's not some cheesy after school special shit either. That's real life. When you go out there and give it all you've got, there is no failure. You're making attempts. When you're trying to do something bigger than yourself, every step, every misstep is part of the damn process. You're paralyzed and you're trying to take one step. Didn't make it. That ain't failure, motherfucker. That's attempt number one. That's how you got to look at it. If that's your biggest challenge, that's where your head needs to be. Failure is a big ass word, man. It drags people down, weighs on them, but not me. I don't give words that kind of power. I strip that power away. I didn't fail. The harder it gets, the more you want to push back. And that's where most people quit. And you know what? People don't like to talk about that struggle. It's taboo. But F that, let's talk about it. I was fat. I talk about it because I lived it. Go ahead, say something. I know what it's like to drag your fat ass out of bed every damn morning, wishing it would get easier, but it doesn't. It's on you. And the truth is, most people don't want to hear that shit. They want it easy. The problem is, the world tells you it's okay. But no, it's not fucking okay, man. That narrative people create is fine. You're good the way you are. That's BS. You need to work harder. You need to train your mind. You need to stop feeding yourself excuses. It's not acceptable to stay where you are. It's your life, sure, but if you're cool with mediocrity, that's unacceptable. If I accepted that shit, I wouldn't be anywhere. But people out here, man, they love playing the victim card, the ultimate get out of jail free card. The world's full of that shit now. Everything's okay. And God forbid you call someone out on it. Well, fuck that. I'm here to take you with me. I'm going to tell you my story. You want to learn from me? You want to know what made me who I am? Come with me. I'm taking you to that place, to the hell I lived in. You want to know Goggins? Let me take you to Buffalo, New York, to the house on Paradise Road, funny name, for a place where I got my ass beat every day. It wasn't paradise, but that's where I came from. That's what people are scared of. Man, they don't want to dive into their own pain, their own struggles. But that's what makes us who we are. We're all messed up. And that's what makes us beautiful. I'm fed up in so many ways, but I figured out how to deal with it. And it's not the same for everyone. You might go from point A to B, but I'll take the long way, point C to D to E, and I'll still get there just a little harder. That's how I train my mind. I don't think like most people. My part-time savage was running 50 miles a week. Now, that demon I wake up every morning, that motherfucker walks with me all day. I tell myself, okay, 10 miles a day, and then that voice kicks in, no bitch. We're not done yet. And man, there's someone out there right now busting their ass harder than you, someone you've never met, doing 12, 13, 14 miles, and then hit another one. And when you meet them, you won't be ready. So what did Goggins do? Kept running. Man, let me tell you what fired me the fuck up. I came from nothing. I was in the hardest damn training in the world, and I was in the worst shape of my life. Broken. But I thought to myself, what if I can graduate with these studs? All these stallions, these gladiators around me, they're healthy, not broken like me. But what if I can make it through? If I can go through this shit broken as I was and still graduate, that'd make me the hardest motherfucker alive. From the weakest man to the hardest. That's what was driving me. The only people who get it are the ones who've been there a million times in their heads, who've already suffered in their mind, accepted the pain before it even happens. They say my legs might snap, my knees might shatter, I'm going to freeze my ass off, and it's going to be miserable. But they still say, let's fucking go. 3 months in, I'm running on stress fractures, and guess what? My body healed through the pain. Why? Because when the mind and body sync up and you don't give yourself an out, that's when you unlock something different. My only way out was to either become a Navy SEAL or die trying. Period. No other options. And when I made that decision, my body was like, Roger that, let's get this done. I learned how to control my adrenaline. You know that fight or flight response. I figured out how to trigger that shit on demand, how to get myself jacked up in the middle of the worst situations. when everyone else was suffering, feeling sorry for themselves, I started seeing that's where I thrive. In the misery, when everyone's down, I found strength. While they were all thinking, this sucks, I was thinking, hell yeah, let's fucking go. Misery became my fuel, man. When you're deep in the shit and everyone's looking for a way out, that's when I came alive. And here's the thing, when people see someone pushing through that kind of suffering, they start thinking, damn, if Goggins can keep going, so can I. I realized that if you can hold on just a little bit longer, you'll have a whole crew of people following you, finding strength in your example. Look, man, people always say failures are part of life. That's how you grow. I've said that shit too, but let me be real with you. That's just noise. I'm tired of hearing all these cliches, all these bullshit lines about goal setting from people who aren't even living what they preach. Half the people talking about it ain't even in the fight. It's time to stop fucking around, embrace the misery, and keep moving forward. That's where the real growth happens. The reason I can talk about failure is simple because I'm still failing today, and I'm failing in a big fucking way. I live this shit, man. A lot of people out there talking about failure are the same people who used to do things back in the day. But are they living it right now? That's what matters. I'm not here talking about what I used to do. I'm talking about the grind I'm still in. I've already lived through every challenge in my head 1,000,000 times before it happens. I've been in that cold water. I've run that 100-mile race in my mind over and over again. I know exactly how I'm going to feel at mile 50. When that pain hits, it's no surprise because I've already been through it mentally. I practice that shit relentlessly, not just the pain, but also the feeling of accomplishment when it's all over. I lock in on that. Here's the truth, man. Most people who are failing are out there busting their asses. And who's criticizing them? People sitting on their couch, eating chips, talking shit. You know how many people were running their mouths when I failed to hit 2,500 pull-ups the first time? A bunch of nobodies telling me to do a pull-up while they're stopped fucking their faces. Exactly. These people aren't even in your fucking world. Block them out. That's rule number one. Rule number two. Failure gives you all the answers. Every single one. When you fail, you see exactly what went wrong. You learn what needs to be fixed. That's why I don't even call it failure. When shit doesn't go right, I don't sit there feeling sorry for myself. I treat it like data. Okay, this happened. That went wrong. Now let's adjust and go again. Like trying to invent the light bulb. You really going to call that failure? Hell no, man. When you're out here trying to break 4,020 pull-ups, every attempt is fucking amazing, no matter what. That's how you need to view failure. And being present, that's my edge. I'm right here, right now. I'm not thinking about what's next. When I'm talking this podcast, I'm all in. I'm locked on what the fuck he's going to say next. That focus, that presence is a massive advantage. Especially today with everyone trying to be the greatest multitasker in the world. Fuck that. I don't want to be the best multitasker. I want to be the best at being right here, right now, doing exactly what needs to be done. If I put 100% into what's in front of me, I'm going to fucking destroy it. But if I'm out here trying to juggle 10 different things, multitasking like everyone else, I'm going to half-ass everything. And that's the problem with most people. They're spread too thin, trying to do it all and end up doing nothing at all. The key, focus on one task and attack it with everything you've got. That's how you win, man. Failure? Man, that shit should be afraid of you. You got to be out there chasing failure. If you're not failing, you're not setting your goals high enough. If you're just aiming to succeed at everything, you're playing it too safe. That's why I go after the hardest, most insane challenges, like when I set out to break the Guinness World Record for pull-ups. I failed it twice. Twice, man. But I wasn't afraid of failing because I knew those failures were stepping stones to greatness. Same with Navy SEAL training. Took me 3 fucking times to get through. But each failure was just part of the process. You know what I learned? When you watch a movie where the hero keeps getting their ass kicked but eventually wins, you feel that shit. You feel amazing when they finally succeed. I live that. I want to feel what I feel watching Rocky get back up, but in my own life. That's the drive that keeps me going. People look at me and they don't get it. They say, man, look at his eyes. He's got demons. Damn right. I've got demons. And I'm not here to make people comfortable by smiling or pretending everything's good all the time. It's easy to be happy when things are going well. Anyone can smile when the sun's shining. That shit doesn't need training. But life, real life, that's the battlefield, man. That's where you need to be ready. Most people don't want to face the misery, the pain, the darkness. They want to skip straight to the peace, cover up the hard times with some fake positivity. Nah, man, that's not how it works. You got to dive headfirst into that hellhole that broke you, face it and fight through it. That's where the real work is. That's what I'm here to do, show you how to go to war with yourself, how to break yourself down and rebuild stronger. This journey ain't about smiling your way through life. It's about pushing through the most uncomfortable, brutal shit imaginable. It's about going places most people are too scared to go. Only then can you find real peace. But make no mistake, it's going to be hard. It's going to be ugly. And it's going to push you to the edge. But that's where transformation happens. That's where you become unstoppable. So here's how it went down. I start this ultra, right? Feeling decent around mile 40, mile 50, cruising along, no big deal. But then mile 70 hits, and let me tell you, it felt like my body got hit by a fucking truck. I sit down in this busted ass blue lawn chair, and it's game over. The Ritz crackers I was choking down after mile 20, those things turned into balls of fucking sandpaper. I'm barely hydrating, no idea what I'm doing. And I'm pounding and sure like it's going to save me. Spoiler alert, it didn't. So I'm sitting there 70 miles deep watching all these other runners pass me, and I'm dizzy as hell, can barely see straight. I haven't gone to the bathroom in 12 hours, ran 70 miles in that time, which is decent. But I look over at my now ex-wife and I swear I'm seeing 3 of her. I'm fed up. The bathroom's maybe 20 feet away, but I can't even move. But this is where people don't get it. They see a 1-minute video of me running, or they see fighters in the ring, and they think that's the whole story. They don't see the fucking grind, the hidden work, the doubts that creep in. Even when you're the best in the world, that little voice in your head from when you were a kid still says, you're not good enough, man. You don't belong here. And you fight that shit every day. You can beat it, but it's always there lurking. That's why quitting ain't an option, man. The second you say, I'm done, your mind shuts off. There's no growth, no progress. But when you say, nah, fuck that. This sucks. I'm broken, I'm drowning, but I'm not quitting. Something crazy happens. Your mind adapts. It's like he's not leaving. So we've got to figure this out. You start tapping into parts of your brain you didn't even know existed. But that only happens when you're in the trenches, when you're suffering and refuse to quit. Sitting in a comfortable chair, sipping on nice water, talking about what you want to do. Nah, man, that won't cut it. Man, you've got so much more left in the tank, but your brain doesn't know it yet. You got to push through the misery to force your brain to level up. Even the hardest motherfucker forgets how tough they are when things get dark. I've been through some shit, but when you're in the middle of a hard time, it's easy to forget the mountains you've already climbed. That's where the cookie jar comes in. It's a mental reminder of every time you went through hell and made it out. You got to reach into that jar and remind yourself, I've been through worse, I've survived worse, I've been through SEAL training 3 times, Ranger School, seen people get beat down, dealt with a lot of loss. Every time I felt like I couldn't keep going, I reached into that jar, pulled out a memory of when I was tougher than the pain. You got to remember how much of a badass you are when life starts trying to break you down. Causing those moments, it's easy to forget, but you've been through worse and you'll get through this too. I look at where I'm at now, but I never forget where the F I came from. I'm blown away by what a human can actually do when they decide to. So when I talk about myself in the third person, it's because I know damn well I built this guy Goggins from scraps. I wasn't some trained mechanic. I wasn't a fucking carpenter. I didn't know how to piece this shit together. My mom didn't teach me. My dad sure as hell didn't teach me. Life, well, yeah, life kicked my ass enough. So that was my training ground. I took every failure, every ounce of pain, and started putting it all together. Like, let's see what happens. And guess what? I built this beast, this unstoppable machine out of nothing. I look at it now and I'm like, how the hell did I do that? But then I remember I got the tools from every bit of suffering I went through. That's how you build someone like Goggins. It's called raw accountability. Not that feel-good bullshit where you sugarcoat everything. If you're fat, look in the mirror and say, I'm fucking fat. Stop lying to yourself with that soft talk. Oh, I overeat a little. Nah, you're fat, own it. Make a list of all the shit you hate doing, all the stuff that scares you, and then attack that list. If you hate making calls, guess what? You better start making 100 calls a day. Why? because it owns you. The more you face it, the less power it has over you. Eventually, you'll realize that fear is nothing but an illusion. Everyone loves saying, triple down on your strengths. That's cool and all, but when you're weak, scared, insecure, you don't have the luxury of leaning on your strengths. You've got to go all in on your weaknesses. That's how you build true strength. You don't like making calls? Dial that shit until it doesn't scare you anymore. I was trapped by my fears, insecurities, and self-doubt. My world was tiny because I was scared to do anything outside of what I knew. I was a prisoner in my own damn mind. But then I realized if I start facing the things that scare me, I can break through those walls. I can become a Navy SEAL. I can do things I never thought were possible. And let me tell you, being a Navy SEAL ain't playing in the water. It's living in that motherfucker. I was terrified of water, but if I didn't face that fear, no one would know my name today. Look at this. 21 years ago, I was a 300-pound guy who could barely read or write. Now I've got a book that sat just 2 spots behind Michelle Obama's. Think about that shit, man. That happened because I was willing to face my fears head on, to break down every barrier and build myself from the ground up. And if I can do it, anyone can if you're willing to suffer, embrace the pain, and keep going. When you face your fears head on and crush them, guess what happens? You unlock the whole fucking world, man. The door swings wide open and everything you thought was impossible starts to seem possible. But the key is you got to be the hardest motherfucker in the room without even talking about it. I don't brag about it. I live it. No days off. First thing in the morning, I'm grinding. Every damn day I'm putting in the work. You don't stay confident forever. It's a constant battle. You're either building yourself up or breaking yourself down every single day. So how do you start that process? It's simple. When you look in the mirror, do you like what you see? If you're out of shape, if you feel like shit, that's on you. Get your ass up, burn those calories, get your mind right, get those adrenals fired up. That's how you start the day. I run every day. I work out every day. People out here set these weak ass finish lines for themselves like, oh, I'm tired, so I'm gonna stop. F that. My motto, I don't stop when I'm tired, I stop when I'm done. When I was younger, I didn't have these big ass goals. I didn't care about goals. What I had was a to-do list, a fucking checklist. And if you don't have a list of things to accomplish every single day, you're gonna sit there, fade away, and become a shell of what you could be. Your brain, it's the most powerful weapon you've got. If you can't control that, you're screwed. You gotta tell your brain where to go, how to get there, and what's next. You have to own that shit, or it will own you. Listen, man, a good, fulfilled human being doesn't tear people down. Anyone who's out there talking shit, calling you names, trying to break you, they've got deep-rooted issues. That's their weakness showing, not yours. When you quit, your brain shuts down. It says, we're done. And that's it, no growth, no progress. But when you say, hell no, I'm not quitting, even when everything hurts. When you're broken, suffering, drowning, that's when your mind says, all right, we're not leaving. So we got to figure this shit out. And your brain starts firing up new pathways, new solutions. It expands. When you're deep in that suffering, refusing to quit, you're forcing your brain to operate on a level it's never worked on before. And after a while, it will get used to it. That's when you become unstoppable. You want to accomplish anything in life, you better work your fucking ass off. That's the only way. Look, I can't even remember half the shit I put myself through, but I'll tell you this, if you want to pass that test to get into the military, you read it once. Still don't get it? Fucking read it again. And if that doesn't work, write it out, burn it into your mind. And guess what happened when I did that? I got it. You're damn right. I got it. Look, I can't fucking swim. I'm negative buoyant. I sink like a damn rock. So what did I do? I went back again. I failed. Went back again. Failed again. But here's the thing. If you keep going back and back and back, at some point your mind says, this dude ain't stopping. We better figure this shit out. I used to think working out was just about the physical struggle, but life ain't just about lifting weights or running miles. It's about the fucking mental war. I ran from struggle my whole life. I was weak. I was soft. Then I woke the hell up and said, you know what? I need to start facing that pain. I need to get mentally strong for whatever life throws at me. This ain't about benching 400 lbs. It's about training your mind to go through hell and keep moving forward. You hit the same wall over and over again? Good. Keep smashing into it. Through discipline. Through repeating the shit you hate, you build that mental armor. Your mind starts to say, all right, I get it. We're going to suffer. We do this shit every day. So when life throws the real pain, we're fucking ready. I had two choices. Stay that fat 300 LB spraying for cockroaches, making next to nothing, or fail and fail until I fucking won. So I picked up the phone, called recruiters. I said, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL. They laughed. Told me I needed to lose 106 LBS in 3 months. I was 297 LBS at 6'8". I took one look at myself, grabbed a milkshake, and thought, there's no fucking way. But I sat there and said, this ain't going to be my life. I quit my job, put that milkshake down, and went after it like a man possessed. I became obsessed, more obsessed than anyone on this planet. I had to create a version of myself that could handle any pain, any suffering, any judgment. I built that guy through suffering. And each step, each door I kicked down, I realized my potential was fucking limitless. The more I suffered, the more I grew. I don't care what you believe in God, the universe, whatever. But picture this, I die, go up to heaven, and God sits me down. He shows me this list of shit I was supposed to do. Change the world, set records, be a Navy SEAL, get honored. And I look at that and say, this isn't me. I was a 300 LB guy spraying for cockroaches. And God says, no, motherfucker, this is who you were supposed to be. You just didn't push yourself to become it. That's the message. Push yourself beyond your limits or stay average. Your choice. You want to know my biggest fear? I'll tell you right now. My biggest fear is getting to the end of this fucking life, sitting down with God or whoever the hell it is up there and hearing, this is what you could have been. This is what you should have done. That scares the hell out of me. I don't want to hear that shit. I want to sit down, look that dude in the eye and see him shake his head like, damn, this motherfucker went beyond even what I expected. That's the standard I live by. There's no fucking cap on what the mind can do. We set our own limits, and that's bullshit. We all start from zero tolerance for pain, zero grit. And guess what? Every one of us has insecurities, stuff we don't want to face. But you can't escape it. When your body's breaking down, when you're in pain, your mind goes right back to that darkness. All the stuff you've been running from. And most people, they quit. They tap out because they don't have the mental toughness, the tools to break through to the other side. Here's the thing, man. You got to ask yourself, why the hell are you even doing this? Most people quit because their minds are weak. You watch SEAL training on TV, sitting in your cozy little 72-degree house, and you think I can do that. Yeah? Wait till you're out there freezing your ass off, every muscle screaming, and your mind wants to quit. That's where most people fold. We love comfort. We love people patting us on the back, telling us we're good enough. Fuck that. Comfort's a killer. It's lying to you. And that's the start of it all. People say, I'm good. I don't need to push anymore. Why do I still do this shit? Why do I get up at 4 a.m. every day? Because I'm not here just for me anymore. When you lead, when people are watching you, it's not about you anymore. You got to set the fucking example. People ask, what drives you now? It ain't about being comfortable. That's done. Now it's about paying back. God gave you the tools, gave you the strength. Now it's payback time. You're suffering now so you can set the bar for others. When people ask, why do you get up at 6 a.m.? It's simple. You're leading the way for everyone else. That's the fucking job now. No excuses. Here's the truth, man. Most people just want to be the best amongst the average. They hit one goal and think they've made it. How do you stay hungry? Goggins, how do you keep pushing? Easy when I accomplish something, I don't fucking rest. Most guys hit a milestone like graduating buds or whatever, and they get comfortable. Then they're sitting around wondering why they've gone soft. Man, I don't get it. I've lost my edge. Why am I getting weak? It's simple. When you reach the top of the mountain, you think you're good. Guess what? You're not. You got to find another fucking mountain to climb. That's mediocrity, man. So many people out here flashing their resume like there's something. They're one-hit wonders, man. They had one big moment, cashed in, and now they're coasting. That makes you average as hell. These guys hit the gym, they bulk up, they run fast, but all they're doing is coding over a weak-ass mind. You're just a bigger, stronger quitter. Your mind is still soft, so the second life punches you in the mouth, you're wondering, but I'm so fit, I'm so strong, what's wrong? What's wrong is your mind is still weak. There's a lot of quiet time in my life. I shut out the fucking noise. I don't need more friends. I don't need people around me just to fill space. If you're not trying to go somewhere, get the hell out. I'm not here to listen to your whining and complaining. You've got a problem? Good. Find a solution or get lost. That's where my head's at. I'm all about moving forward. No more fucking excuses, man. I'm big into visualization and self-talk, but not just that. I'm about setting a vision for where I want to be and then making a fucking plan to get there. And I don't deviate. Once I started talking to myself the right way, shutting out all that bullshit in my head, I went from this insecure, stuttering kid who thought he was dumb to someone who can do anything. Why? Because I learned how to control my mind. And here's the thing, man, people love to say, I don't care, but they don't mean it. When you really stop caring what people think, that's when you become dangerous. I'm not talking about slacking off or not caring about your goals. I mean, when you stop giving a fuck about how people see you, how you walk, how you talk, what you wear, where you're going in life, that's freedom. Growing up, I was scared to tell people I wanted to join the military because I was worried what my black friends would think. Why you want to do that, man? So I stayed quiet, didn't chase my dream, all because I cared too much about their opinion. You know what that is? It's shackles, man. You're letting other people change your mind. And the craziest part, on the other side of that fear, that suffering, is a whole other world. But you'll never see it if you stay comfortable. You've got to push yourself to that extreme place where it hurts like hell to find that other world. Stay soft and you'll never fucking know it's there. It's like being an astronaut, but instead of space, you're exploring the deep, dark shit in your mind. That darkness, that pain, it's always been there. You just didn't have the guts to go through the muck to find it. But once you do, you realize, holy shit, there's a whole other universe in there. A universe that's been waiting for you to crack open that scar, that callus on your mind. But most people don't want to touch it. They want to avoid the pain, avoid the blood that's going to come when you rip it open. Nah, fuck that. You have to let it bleed. Let that shit flow. All the toxic crap you've been bottling up in your brain has to come out. It has to. You did this to yourself, man. Yeah, maybe other people help push you down, but it's on you to fix it. That's a hard truth to swallow. But it's reality. Like all the people who doubted you back in high school. They didn't know where you were going to end up. So you got to keep rewriting your book every damn day. Not just words, not just empty shit you say to sound tough. No, this is life. This is how I live. Every day I have that conversation with myself. The most important conversation you'll ever have is with yourself. Because you live with it every single day. The problem is most of those conversations we have, they're the wrong fucking ones. They keep us stuck in that toxic environment, the one you created, the one everyone else helped build, and you just sit there. That negativity becomes you. Life beat the shit out of me, man. Knocked me down hard. I was in the 12th round of a 15-round fight, flat on my back. But when my opponent turned around, thinking I was done, I got the fuck back up. Won the next 3 rounds. That's my mindset. It can't hurt me. I was hurt, man. My first 26 years, life threw everything at me. Abuse from my father, bullies, learning disabilities, stuttering, failing over and over. But I faced it all or it would have fucking destroyed me. And through that pain, I started to evolve. People started looking at me like I was some kind of superhero. But in the back of my mind, I knew the truth. I knew the real story. One day I had to share it. It's easy to stay where people think you're great. It's comfortable. But if you really want to help people, you have to show them the truth. You have to let them know where you come from. And where I come from, it's hell. But here's the thing, people see greatness and want to label it. They put you in a box, call you a 1%er and say, that's not for me. They're special. I'm not like them. That's bullshit. There's no such thing as special people. There's only a special mindset. And you can build that yourself. You can create it. You can do that. That's exactly why I wrote the book the way I did, so people can look at me and say, damn, this dude came from nothing and he had to fight through all that. I'm stripping away all the titles, crazy, superhuman, whatever. I'm not letting you sit there and make excuses by labeling me something special. Here's the wild part. You'll have my book in your hands, you'll read it, listen to it, whatever. And by the time you hit chapter 9 or 10, you've already forgotten chapters 1, 2, and 3. You forgot the hell I went through. That's how fast the mind wants to soften you up. It whispers, this guy's just nuts. He's not like you, he's superhuman. That's how quick your brain wants to give you a fucking out. You love the book, but your mind is already steering you back to that path of least resistance, saying, this is impossible for me. That's how powerful the mind is. It's working against you as you're reading the damn thing. So you got to constantly remind yourself, go back to chapters 1, 2, and 3. Don't forget where I started, because you can do this too. But first, you got to take a real hard look at yourself. You need to perform a self-autopsy on your life. I'm training my mind, body, and soul to work as one because life's going to throw some serious shit at you. And if you're not mentally and physically ready, you're going to crumble. And when you crumble, you're not good for anyone, not yourself, not your family, nobody. When you're suffering, you forget how tough you actually are. That's what suffering does. It fucking tests you. That's all it is. Suffering is life's test to see how bad you really want it. Where I'm at today, that's where you find real lasting peace. Greatness ain't about running 200 miles, doing 4,000 push-ups, or being a SEAL. Greatness is whatever the hell you dream up in your mind. But you got to see it first. You got to create that vision for yourself. And once you have that vision, that's where I step in. How the hell are you going to get there? We're all capable of greatness, every single one of us. I don't care if you think you're dumb, fat, or you actually are fat. I don't care if you've been bullied or if you came back from Iraq with no legs. You still have greatness in you. You just got to find the balls to go after it. You need to have the courage to put on your headphones, block out the noise, and find what makes you different from everyone else. Because when it gets hard, and the harder it gets, the more you start to push back. And guess what? The more you push back, the more people around you are going to tell you it's not for you, it's too much, slow down. Let's be real, man. If you're fat, I know exactly what you're going through. I was fat. I talk about it because I lived it. Go ahead, talk shit about being fat. I know what it feels like to drag your fat ass out of bed every morning when everything hurts and you don't want to move. But here's the thing, man. I can't want it more than you. And most people, they just want the easy way out. Newsflash, it ain't happening. People start building this narrative that it's okay to be average. It's okay to stay where you are. But that's not the real narrative. The real story is that you need to work harder. You need to discipline your mind better. Stop giving yourself a pass. Stop telling people it's okay to stay in a place that's slowly killing them. If you're not willing to help yourself, I can't help you. That's not acceptable to me. You might accept mediocrity, but I don't. A lot of people in this world, including myself, wouldn't be anywhere if we accepted that weak-ass mindset. People love creating excuses for themselves, narratives that make it okay to stay comfortable. It's like having a get-out-of-jail-free card. The world's filled with them now. Everywhere you look, it's okay to quit, to settle, to stay weak, and nobody can say a damn thing about it. Well, fuck that. If you're serious about learning from me, you got to be willing to go back home with me. You got to look at your own life and confront what made you. That's what people are afraid of. They don't want to dive deep into the darkness that shaped them. But that's where the beauty is. We're all fucked up in some way. And that's what makes us human. That's what makes me me. I'm jacked up, but I figured out my own path to get unjacked. There were days I'd hit 10 miles and the old me would say, that's good enough. But then that demon in me, he wakes up. He tells me, nah, man, not today, motherfucker. There's someone out there you don't know who's doing 12, 13, 14 miles, and when you meet him, you won't be ready. So what did I do? I kept running. Because that's life, you don't get ready. You stay ready. People always ask me, what are you training for, David? I ain't training for a damn thing. I'm just ready. So when someone calls me up like, yo, I'm in Vegas, want to run? Hell yeah, I'm ready. That's the mindset. The run sucked, but I was ready. And that's the key, man. I'm not going to let you off easy. I'm not going to let you drift into a place that's hard to escape from. If I let you gain 5 more pounds, skip school, or keep fucking around with your life, I'm not helping you. And if I see that S and don't call you out, I'm doing you a disservice. None of that soft talk behind your back. I'll call you out to your face because that's what you need, even if you don't like it. This world, yeah, you can't say a damn thing without people losing their minds. But me, I don't give a fuck. I still say what needs to be said, and I always will. Don't like me? Fine. I'm good with that. A lot of times my mind's like, fuck it. But that doesn't mean I quit. Hell no, man. I don't quit. I might not get it right the first time, but I'll be back. I'll regroup, figure that shit out, and keep pushing. It ain't about walking away when it gets hard. It's about studying that pain learning from it, and coming back stronger. Man, failure? I don't even use that word. Every time I stumble, it's just another attempt, another rep. First, second, third, fuck it, I'll do it 100 times if I have to. Quitting is the only real failure. You fail when you don't even try. And this ain't some after school special bullshit, it's real. Whether you're trying to run a marathon, lose weight, or just take one step when you're paralyzed at first attempt, that's not failure, motherfucker. That's the start. The word failure has so much damn power over people, but I stripped that power away. I didn't fail, I just tried. And I'll keep trying. Your mind, though, it's always got the tactical advantage. Why? Because it knows you. It knows your fears, your weaknesses, your insecurities. It knows exactly where to F with you. You might think you're tough, but when you're alone, it's UVS. You. No one's there to help, no best friend, no cheerleader. Just you and that voice in your head trying to pull you down. And if you let your mind control you, you're fucked up. Straight up. You've got to flip that switch and tell your brain where you're going, how you're going to get there, and make it follow you. If you don't take control, it's over and you're done. There's so much more in us than we think. All I did was pick up the damn shovel and start digging. I didn't wait for anyone to clear the path. I built my own. Yeah, maybe there's boulders in your way and someone else is miles ahead, but that's life. Some days I wake up and I'm like, why the fuck I living like this? Why all this structure? But I know why. Because structure is what keeps me moving forward, even when it sucks. So yeah, there are days when I get up with a bad attitude, thinking, fuck this. But guess what? I keep going. I sit around sometimes and ask myself, so you want to be normal? You want to be like all these people just walking around, never knowing the power they've got inside? You want to be fine with being average? And every time I fuck that, the worst thing that ever happened to me, I lost myself. Hell, I never even knew who I was to begin with. I had zero self-esteem, none. But when I started working out, pushing myself, learning fuck, it took a lot to learn. That's when I started finding my self-worth. Once I found that, shit started changing. I stopped giving a F what anyone thought. Stopped worrying about being judged. Like, if I say this, if I try that, are they going to laugh at me? I didn't give a damn anymore. That's when everything flipped for me. Slowly but surely, man, life started to change. I could barely read and write when I was a junior in high school. I wasn't going anywhere. I was trying to play a character, thinking if I changed how I looked or sagged my pants, I'd figure it out. I was lost. I was a clown straight up. And then it hit me, this ain't what you're supposed to be in life, man. Stay hard.